Alright, hola familia VID, ¿cómo están? Espero que se encuentren muy bien. Como pueden ver, no somos Ricardo y Senia, somos Ricardo y Jocelyn, la familia Brito Jr., you can say,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Hoy vamos a hacer algo diferente, hoy va a estar en inglés este segmento, pero it's okay, no worries. Bueno, oremos real quick y de ahí empezamos. Gracias, Señor, por este día. Gracias por este momento que nos has dado a nosotros, a mí y a mi esposa. Estamos muy agradecidos porque tú nos has elegido a nosotros para dirigir este segmento. Te pido que nos bendigas, también que bendigas a todos los que están viendo este programa, se puede decir. Que si les ayuda en alguna parte de su vida, pues gloria sea a ti. Y te pido también que bendigas a los Seahawks en esta temporada tan rara que van a tener. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
And ahora vamos a encender el botón de inglés. You want to go? What are we doing today? Oh, before you do that, shout out my barber.
Okay.
Big Ben did the fade. Check it out.
This is not in any way sponsored.
It is not. It can be though. Let me know, Ben, if you see this.
All right. Okay, well, we're here. First and foremost, we're here because we're actually here to talk about you. Talk about how God has changed your life. And I think that being part of the church for such a long time at such a young age, I don't think a lot of people, or at least sometimes we feel like we don't have the testimony.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
And I think that we do. We all have testimonies. We all chose to follow Christ on our own. So I just wanted to talk about that and see where God took you out of and see where everything has, I don't know how God has changed your life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. You have any questions for me before we start?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, first off, how old were you when you started going to church?
When I started going to church, I was about 8 or 9, around there. It was like 2004. And I started going to PIB back when it was an older generation. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of fell off because we were going for about a year and we kind of fell off. And I guess we went back to the world, right? And we came back to church about year 2006. Okay. 2006? 12? Yeah, 2006, because I was 12 years old. And we started going to PIB again. Primera Iglesia Bautista, shout out. They were in a new spot this time. They were in Des Moines. Mm-hmm. And we went. I don't know why we went. But at first it was just me, my mom, and my brother, Robert. And Rodrigo, too. Forgot about him. And we were just going there. And for me, it was like, right? I don't want to go, mm-hmm. right? Because every time during service, we would go to the little youth room. And I was like, I don't want to meet new people. I'm too shy. Mm-hmm. And I hated going. And so every time we would go and we would come back, I would express to my mom that I never liked going, right? And I was like, I don't like meeting new people and whatnot. And from there on, my dad started going with us and on Sundays. And then I think like when I was 13-ish, mm-hmm. I got baptized.
Oh, and at 14?
14, okay. 13, somewhere around there, yeah. And because I wanted to serve at church. I was very interested in like the presentation of audiovisual aspect mm-hmm. of things. And I remember I got baptized, right? With my brother and my dad. Mm-hmm. So, trio there. And I was in the sound booth and I was running PowerPoint with some friends of mine.
So what I do now.
Basically. So what you do now, yes. You'll be a musician in a few years.
Highly doubt.
I know. And I met a lot of people through not only church, but also like working at church. Mm-hmm. When I wasn't working at church, it was like, oh, okay, hi, how you doing, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I started working at church, I actually met people and I made friends.
And we met at that church.
We met at that church as well. Yes, we did.
I started going to a youth group there. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to meet people too. But I met my husband there.
Your husband? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, you said that that you guys had stopped going and then you guys went back? What made you guys go back?
I don't know.
Is that a question for your mom?
I think it's a question for my mom. I'm not really sure why we went back.
Yeah, you're probably still too young to remember.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, during that time, it was like video games and playing soccer outside. And that was it.
Yeah. You said that you didn't like going to church at first because you didn't like to meet new people. Was that just an excuse, or like what was the real reason why you didn't like to go to church?
It was that. I don't think it was an excuse because like whenever I would go, like I felt super shy and like I didn't want to talk. I just sat in my chair looking down the whole time. And I was like that the whole time. And then when they would say hi to me, I would be like...
You kind of like showing like the bad attitude kind of thing, like...
No, I really wasn't, because like my cheeks were all red and I was just like super shy. I was really shy. It wasn't that I wasn't like this, right? That was not the case.
Tell me why I can imagine you doing that.
No, it was more like I was like this, my hands between my legs and like this, only smaller and slimmer.
Emphasis on the slim.
Emphasis on the slimmer. I haven't grown much.
Okay, so when did you decide to follow Christ? Because I know that our parents pushed us to go to church and to do this, but then ultimately, at the end of the day, it's our choice if we want to follow Christ or not. What made you decide to follow Christ?
To decide was, I think it was when I wanted to work at church. I think that's when I decided. I will say this though. Deciding to follow Christ is not the same as wanting to know Christ.
Okay. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can. Because back then, like, deciding to follow Christ for me was like, okay, I'll go to church, I'll help out, you know. I believe the idea of Jesus and, like, himself and what he stands for is a great message. And I'm going to help the church by, you know, doing audiovisuals. And, like, that's my way of, like, contributing to spreading the message, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, wanting to know Christ was later on in life, I feel like, when I got older, when I was, like, 20-something, right? And it's, like, actually wanting to know who Christ is, who God is, right? And I feel like when you want that, you kind of, like... start reading the Bible more. You actually pay attention to preachings.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also another thing is that you understand more when you're older, right? And you can actually like connect with what people are saying. So that's something that I figured out later on, you can say.
Okay.
So yeah.
When did you start serving? I know you kind of like touched a little bit on that, but
yeah. So
when did you start serving?
I started back in like 2006, I think. When I was,
and you said you were 12, right?
I was like 12-ish, and I started in audiovisuals. And yeah, that's where I started, and that's where I thought I would stop, and hasta ahí llego, right?
Yeah, and when did you start playing like the piano at church? Because I know you've told me that you kind of were like thrown into the water just like
I was, yeah. So I started playing.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about that.
Yeah, I know.
So.
I started learning piano in like 2007, I believe. 2007? No. I started learning piano in 2010.
Yeah, because when I met you, you only had like 6 months of knowing.
Yeah, 2009, because it was my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
So I started learning piano 2009 in the summer, right? And my piano teacher taught me for about 3 months. And then he was forced to leave. Let's say that. And then, you know, he left. The piano guy of the church left, right? And then there's this kid over there who barely knows piano, and they're like, why don't we have him play piano? You know, let's push him. And they were like, all right, cool. So, hey, Ricky, you're playing the Vigilia. That's coming up.
Was that your first one?
First one. And I was like, so I had to like memorize the songs, memorize them. And yeah, it was crazy. I remember that day, I got like the fattest headache.
Because you were so nervous? Because
I was so nervous. Like, to the point where it hurt, and obviously it hurt, right? But to the point where I felt like something burst in my head, right? And it was just so bad. I was sweating from my back, like drops just Yeah, dude, it was really bad. And somebody gave me a suit, like a full suit to wear.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
like
nice.
bought it for me. It was a little too big, but they still bought it for me.
Oh.
So that's
Oh.
the main goal or the main purpose of that.
Okay. How did that help you with your spiritual walk? Like, did serving the church help you with your spiritual walk?
How did serving the church?
Yeah.
It kept me more in touch with people at church, which in turn like guided me to like, hey, Jesus this, Jesus that, and like preachings and like doing a little Bible studies and all that. So being there helped me like learn more subconsciously, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely.
So it has.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
How has your service to God changed when COVID hit? I think that's really important because we kind of just, something just happened just all of a sudden, but like, and a lot of our work was kind of like put on hold, right? So how did that affect your work or your service to
my
God?
Service to God?
Yeah.
Okay, because
in
my
the
work was
beginning
different. Okay.
versus now.
Okay, so in the beginning, I remember it was like a week before the state shut down. Pastor gave out the order that we'll take a break for a few weeks, and we'll do services online, because we had bought gear which we can use to go online. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that, but we bought some gear that we could do online. So we're like, no worries, we'll just do it at Pastor's house, and we'll stream it from there. And I figured out the whole streaming thing, and we had our first service on, right? And it was very different because we were very different, but kind of the same. Meaning, it was the same because it was still our little band playing, and we were still doing the whole service, but it was live in a different place, right? So that's what was different, and it felt different too because it was in a different place. And then now, it's a lot of things are pre-recorded, so we have to like practice a lot, even though I don't. But either way, now we do everything like pre-recorded, and it's a little harder. But soon, some news are coming. I don't know if they already said it, but
I don't know either.
Yeah, so some news are coming, and things are gonna be a little more normal, little more. But yeah, that's how it's been.
Now, if this whole pandemic would have hit like 15 years ago or when you first started, and let's say that we had the materials to do all this still, would you still be able to do it? Like, would you still be able to serve God and like continue to do your work?
Me personally, would I have like
you personally,
devout,
devoted,
devout. I don't know. I think it would depend on my parents to take me, right? Because I'm 12 at that time. So I think it would depend on my parents, but I think I would be down. If my little crew was there, I'd be down to go. Yeah.
Who's your little crew? Just kidding. You know the answer to that.
It was all dudes.
Oh.
Met some great people though. Tell you that much.
Okay, how would your life be different if your parents never pushed you to go to church at such a young age?
How would it be different?
How would it be different if they never pushed you?
Okay. Not really sure, to be honest, but given my parents' previous life, I'd probably think I'd be like going to clubs, partying, possibly, going to college out of state. I feel like I didn't go out of state because I was Christian, but that's besides the point. I think honestly, I would have traveled more, and I probably wouldn't have lived with my parents until I got married. So
you would have lived with your parents after you got married?
No. I wouldn't. So I would have moved out of my house way earlier than what I actually did, which was before marriage.
Yeah, you moved in when we got married, not before.
Okay, yeah. Whatever she said, I don't know. I think I'm losing it right now.
Okay, now how would it be different if you never started serving at church?
Ooh.
Is that a good question?
That is a good question.
Okay.
I have a feeling that I would still. As of right now, COVID.
No. Just in general. Like, if
In
you
general?
never started serving and since the beginning, if your parents never pushed you to start serving,
Okay.
like, how different would your life be without serving? Or, like, how would your walk with Christ be different?
Okay. I think it'll be a little less of what I said of like partying and clubbing and all that, but still there. And going to church maybe twice a month, or maybe once a month. Showing up at 30 minutes later, like 10, 11 o'clock, If this fits you, then not just kidding.
So not being as committed as you are now.
Heck no. Definitely not. Not committed at all. Yeah. What about you, though?
Me?
Yeah. What do you...
But what I do if I wasn't serving?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That for me, that's a tough question because there was a time where I couldn't go. Well, I wasn't serving for a long time, and I was actually going to the Renton Church with Pastor Carlos Andres. Shout out to Pastor Carlos Andres, Iglesia Vida.
Shout out.
I didn't. Actually, I was always serving there because I was serving at 116 at the time. But, like, I feel like it wasn't the same as, like, serving, like, on a Sunday, right? Like, we're so used to, like, serving on Sundays. And I think that I kind of got lazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because then when I finally got some responsibility, and it was, like, once a month, I was like, I don't want to do it. Like, But on Wednesdays, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's continue doing it. But on Sundays, I was kind of getting lazy. So I think I would be a little bit more lazy if I never started serving. But I did start serving at really, like... I was really young. I was already helping my mom, like, at 15, like, with the Escuela Dominical, with the kids. Yeah, dude, I've always been around kids, like, all my life.
Dang.
So yeah, I served at a pretty young age. And, I don't know, I thank my parents for always pushing me to go to church because, when I stopped going to church with them, I continued going, but I just at a different church.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know, it's just helped me because... It's kind of like, no, I have to go to church. I have to learn more about God. And, and they pushed me to kind of, to be committed.
Yeah.
Most of all. And, like, not just give, like, 50%, 20%, but give, like, 110% of my time to God, or, like, give that 110% effort into doing things. Like, if I can't do things, then I can't just do it halfway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like responsibility also, like, keeps us at church a little more, too.
It does. So. I think so, it does. And it keeps us occupied, too. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's like, for me, it's nice to kind of go to church and, like, I miss going to church, by the way.
Yeah.
I miss going to church. And, like, I miss going and, like, doing the PowerPoint. I remember back then I was like, I don't want to do Purpose Center anymore. But now I'm like, no, I miss it. And the day that we did the marriage conference at Tirso's house, I had so much fun. It was a little stressful. I was nervous. I had to, like, basically relearn everything. But I had so much fun doing it. I'm like, yeah, we need to go back. I want to go back so bad.
I feel it.
Yeah. And seeing other people and, yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Okay. What is a piece of advice you would give to the youth of today?
To the youth?
To the youth.
Of today? Piece of advice.
To the youth. Just kidding.
Okay. Piece of advice to the youth of today. Christian or not Christian?
Christian.
Christian?
We're going to do Christian first and then non-Christian.
Okay, Christian first. Definitely stay in church. Don't leave. Even if it's just, you're just sitting there. Honestly, just... stay there. And I tell you that because the more you're there, you're actually like, you might not think of it, but you're actually listening to what the Word of God is being preached, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something. That's something. It's not exactly what we should be doing, but that's something, right? Also, I feel like you guys should at least, I don't know, grab maybe 1/2 of a chapter on the New Testament and like turn or read it into like the new versions of the Bible, right? Like the Message. I like the Message. You don't like the Message.
I don't like that. I like ESV.
ESV?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Message because it's like so modern, right?
Yeah, it is. I will give you that.
Very, it is very modern. And I feel like it's easy to understand and definitely I can connect with it. You know what I mean? So that's why I like it. And I feel like that's what we need to do with the youth too. Like they need to like read something they can actually understand. Right. Right. And and yeah, for non-Christians, follow Jesus.
Nice.
Especially in these weird times, man.
Really
I'm telling you,
times.
it's
unpredictable times.
Unpredictable times. It's getting crazy, and you never know.
It's time. It's time.
Time
to
is
start
coming, dude.
Jesus, guys.
Sorry, the time is near. Time is ending. Running out of time. Running out of time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Jesus is coming. That's what I'm trying to say. Running out of time. But yeah.
And what piece of advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
16-year-old self?
Yeah. You're 16 and like somehow, some way you go back to the
past.
I was gonna say back to the future. Back to the past, and you're looking at yourself, your 16-year-old self, and you be like, Ricky, you should do this and this and that because of this. And it could be let's do like one Christian advice and one like, let's say like for school kind of thing.
Okay, Christian advice. I would probably advise myself to read the Bible more, but in English. And like I said, something more modern that I can actually understand it. Because like we would read the Bible and it was in Spanish and like I was like blah, 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 right? And then forget whatever I just read.
Yeah.
You know? Like I memorized it for the little things that we did, and then next week, right?
A lot of the Bible verses that I memorized was because I was in this Christian club at church. It was called Awana.
Oh,
right,
okay.
and then like you would get like little patches if you memorized the Bible verse. And I think the first one was John 3:16.
Yeah,
and everybody knew that. Like that was like the number one verse that everybody had to learn. So
it was like Bible Scouts.
It was basically because you got a vest and everything. It was
really?
It was really cute. I think my mom
vest.
still has a vest.
Really?
Yeah, I have to ask for it.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I would give myself. 16 years ago, Christian advice. And then for like school, man, I've seen Year Up, and it's like a good program and all.
But that's new, right?
It's newish.
Yeah.
And it was out when I was going to not high school, but like college, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I feel like to my 16-year-old self, I would tell myself, you know, like the future is in computers, so
yeah, it's true.
study all that.
Yeah.
And not audio technology like I did. Audio engineering, sorry. Like I did. But, you know, that's besides the point.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's my advice to myself.
Yeah.
Do you have advice from my 16-year-old self?
For your 16-year-old self? Did I know you when you were 16? Siwa?
Yeah.
Don't be
not
shy.
to this extent, though.
Don't be shy. Talk to people.
Yeah, honestly.
I think that's one of my biggest regrets when I was young. Is like I was too closed, right?
Yeah.
Like I was too closed-minded and like I didn't open up to like things. And I feel like I still kind of am, but I'm kind of like little by little kind of like breaking it just because I'm older. But it's still a little hard. I will admit that. It's still a little hard, especially with this whole thing that we can't really see anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I would do is just have an open mind and not be so closed-minded when it comes to like meeting new people and stuff.
That's true.
So yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna close out in prayer. Hope you guys enjoyed this little interview between Ricky and I.
Husband and wife
edition.
A dish. I like that. That's good. I like that.
We're really happy to be here. We're happy that we are sharing our home to you guys, to the church, and we're just really happy to be serving and just giving back to the community and giving back to what God has given us. I think He has blessed us so much, and we want to give back somehow, some way. So we just hope that this can be a blessing to you guys, and just honestly, don't give up. Sometimes the walk with Christ is hard. It's tough, but we know that with Christ, anything is possible. Philippians 4:13. So just keep going. Don't give up. I know sometimes parents can be there pressuring you sometimes, and we're like, ugh, I don't want to be there anymore. But listen to them. They know what's best for us, and at the end of the day, you're gonna be thankful that they did, because you know that your foundations are based on Jesus, on God, right? And that's something that I'm very grateful for my parents for always pushing me. For I'm grateful for Ricky's parents too, because they were always pushing him. And even now that we're married, both our parents are still pushing us to continue.
Definitely.
And we appreciate that a lot. from them. And I don't know. We love the people around us supporting us through everything. And yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, putting in a lot of hours into church is not a waste. You might see it as a waste because you don't get like immediate reward, right? Like the Lord does reward you for the things you do at church and what you do for Him and your neighbor and all that. But it might not be in the form of money or I don't know, fame, you can say, right? It's more in like blessings, like your parents are still together, your parents are alive, you're alive, right?
Yeah.
You don't have any underlying conditions, you don't
Right.
have the Rona, you know what I mean?
The Rona.
The Rona. And it could be blessings in many ways. Like maybe somebody hits you up and they're like, yo, let's go get some burgers or something, right? So it's not explicitly in like money, right? All those countless hours, you will be tired too.
Yeah.
You will be tired. You will be stressed sometimes, and but it's worth it. It's really worth it because you're doing something for the Lord, and you're delivering this message one way or another. It doesn't have to be by what we're doing here. It doesn't have to be by you giving a Bible study. It could be by you, I don't know, sharing a picture of like what God has done in your life or something.
Yeah.
But that's my last advice.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. We're just going to close out in prayer. To all the youth, we have you guys in our prayers. I don't know. We just have you guys in our prayers. So we can just close out in prayer. Do you want to pray or do you want me to pray?
You can pray. I pray to start.
Okay.
To open this.
Okay. This whole shebang. Okay. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for everything that you have given us. And thank you for giving Ricky and I this opportunity to just kind of have a conversation between us and between the youth behind that camera, Lord. Even though we can't see them, we know that they are watching, and we are praying that they are somehow blessed by this, Lord, and that you just continue to help us and continue to help the youth, Lord. I know that it's not easy, and I just pray that you just give them the strength, the wisdom, Lord, that they need to follow you. And I pray all this in your name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Should we do a thumbnail? Yeah, that's a thumbnail. Familia VID, see you later. Take care. Se cuidan. Y nos vemos very soon.
Hopefully. Yay. VID.
VID.
VID.